What's going on, YouTube? It's Ryan. We're going to be talking a little bit, not a little, we're going to be talking a lot about the company 5strands. They offer intolerance testing for both humans, your individuals, as well as household pets, dogs and cats. So when I first spoke to someone from 5strands, obviously right off the bat, my head went to, all right, I will get my own testing done because I'm very curious to see. Then I realized that they had pet testing, which was really ironic because we had just adopted, my wife and I had just adopted a cat, 7-year-old, her name's Zeta. We adopted her from a rescue home. So we got her, leave it to me. I always gravitate towards the sick and helpless ones. So when we first got her, she was very, very sick. We didn't know what it was. The facility that she was at didn't know what it was, what was causing it. She had, she was very skinny, and her coat, she's a Russian blue. Her coat was very thin and mangled, and she was over grooming so much to the point where she was giving herself scabs. And then she was picking the scabs off, and there was almost one whole side of her that was pretty much bald. And on top of that, she has no teeth. She had no meow. She needed help. So anyways, where I was going with that was, it was ironic that 5strands reached out to me, and I realized that because it was perfect timing. And I said, well, why don't we try this? Because we've been, she has probably 50 pages of veterinary records, and they've tried everything, it's been an ongoing thing for at least 3 years that we can tell from the paperwork. But they've tried everything from changing foods to medications to literally they've tried everything with her, and nothing obviously seemed to work. So before we got the test, we were obviously trying to do our own kind of eliminations and trial and error. And we had a little success, but luckily, we finally got the results back from 5strands, which, by the way, the whole process was very simple. They send you a little resealable envelope with a shipping label on it, a prepaid shipping label, and all we had to do was just clip a little of her fur, put it in the envelope, send it off, boom, and then we got the testing. And the panels that they ran were far more extensive than I thought it was going to be. I mean, there's every kind of possible food you could imagine, and not only that, but there's also additives, synthetic additives, and trees, insects, chemicals, everything I could possibly think of. They even have cat dander on there. So of course, per usual, our cat Zeta has a lot of intolerances, and pretty severe ones. But once we had this in front of us, we were able to start kind of narrowing down what was causing it. What is she eating out of these intolerances, and how can we get it out? So, the biggest one for her was she's allergic to brown rice, and she's allergic to almost all grains. And with pet foods, whether there's grain, whatever kind of grain it is, I've found that it always seems to be brown rice is, kind of glorified as an additive. So obviously, we had to cut that out, and practically have her on almost an all meat diet, with vegetables. And there's some vegetables she can't have. But furthermore, what was more interesting is she I kept saying, I was like, it's got to be something causing it at the surface level. And when I got to the bottom, she's very allergic to imidacloprid, which imidacloprid is, in the veterinary world, is used for flea and tick treatments. Which, me being in the golf industry, we use it for other purposes. So it stood out to me. I was like, I know what that is. And then it dawned on me that she was actually getting, I can't remember if it was Advantix or one of those topical treatments that went on her spine, which was almost exactly where all the irritation was stemming from. It was like one whole side from her spine down to her stomach. It was just, she would not stop picking at it. So it's been extremely helpful. Because trying the trial and error thing sounds great, but when you got a million different foods, a million different chemicals and danders and all that stuff, it's kind of hard to do trial and error. It'll take you years. So this is kind of a good reference guide that it's given us. And, like I said from the beginning, I was interested in this for myself, and now I'm even more interested in this for myself because, it's not just laying out allergies, what your cat or a person is allergic to, breaks it down into 4 levels actually, which are different response levels to that allergen or that, whatever you want to call it, food or chemical. So not everything that she's allergic to necessarily means that she's going to have an allergic reaction to a physical allergic reaction. Some of those allergens are affecting things at the cellular level. So I'm even more interested in this for me now, because I eat a lot of food, and I have always questioned what am I supposed to be eating, what am I not supposed to be eating, from a tolerance standpoint. So end of the story is, before 5strands, we were struggling to find help for our cat. We brought her to vets, and her condition was just getting, not worse, but it was not getting any better. And now that we've had this and we've had time to kind of eliminate foods and rein her diet back in, her fur looks better than it ever has. She has more energy. She's more social. Her hair, where it was down to the scabs, is almost totally grown back in. All in all, she's gained weight, and she just looks like a healthier cat. So thank you for that, 5strands. If you got a struggling pet with the symptoms you can't diagnose, it's been a great tool for us. If you're an individual doing it for yourself, just as useful, if not more. Especially like for me, being in the fitness world, what I eat is very specific. And say I'm eating, we'll say turkey breast for 3 months on end, or rice, turkey and rice. If I'm not having an allergic reaction from that, where I'm breaking out in hives, but the question still remains, is there some sort of intolerance behind these foods that maybe I'm not noticing but are there? So I'm very anxious to try it for myself, and probably my wife as well. I can't say enough good things about it. It's been a great experience. My cat, I'm sure, is very thankful, just as we are. It's a great thing because it's not a one-time thing. Now I have a guide forever on what my cat can and cannot eat. So give them a try. And they're going to take care of you. They're going to make your life a lot easier. So that's all I got. RadDad out.